All right, hello everyone. It is me, Gabby. We are playing some more Umineko because we're on the last episode and we're so close to the end. I have to. Also, I'm off work now, so I have more time, more free time to do this kind of stuff. So, last episode we finished the quiz section, and it made me look like an idiot because I got a lot of the quizzes wrong, the brain teasers, puzzles wrong, even though I swear I knew what I was doing. So I'm apparently stupid, so I'll have to go back and get those because I think there was a bunch of like some points like crucial lore drops that are hidden behind getting the quizzes right the first time. So that's fun. So I missed that. But all that sort of happened, and everyone was all happy. Ange was taking a bit of a break, and then Bernie decided to intervene, and basically she's Battler essentially, or Bernie, whatever. Either way, Bernie essentially challenged Battler and Beatrice to one final fight, pretty much. And seems like what that's going to be is some sort of murder mystery thing, whatever. Just a normal, plain old murder mystery that they have to figure out, I guess, or something along those lines. Because I was looking through the Steam achievements again, and it says that there is a Steam achievement for guessing the culprit on the first try, and I didn't understand what that meant exactly. But now I think I know, I think I'm starting to understand that maybe the culprit thing has got to do with this specific mystery that Bernie is giving them in this final challenge, and so the audience has to give the answer for some reason. I don't really know how that's supposed to tie into everything, or if it's just a piece of fan service that they're like, hey, instead of Battler learning the truth, let's see if you can figure it out before Battler does, or something along those lines. So yeah, we'll see what happens. This is Umineko is a very weird game. I enjoy it though. First Twilight. Ba, ba, ba. Tragedy of the first twilight was discovered at 6 in the morning on the following day. Thoda, who'd woken up to get breakfast ready, went to check on the adult siblings who had remained in the dining hall since the previous night because of the family conference. Oh yeah, this is the stuff that Andrew was talking about. Okay. Tell us about when you discovered the crime. The dining hall was locked up. Oh shit. Purple truth? What the fuck does purple truth mean? I guess that's Bernie's truth. I guess, because that's like kind of her sort of color. Dining hall was locked up. Of course, there was a lock on the doors to the dining hall, but they usually remained unlocked. I knocked, but there was no answer. That's when I arrived. I recommended that he try unlocking the door just in case. When I unlocked the door with the master key, a terrifying sight awaited me. Eva-sama, Hideyoshi-sama, Riddle-sama, Kyrie-sama, Rosa-sama, and Genji-san. 6 people in all were lying there covered in blood. A great turmoil followed. Everyone gathered in the dining hall. I don't want to remember it. The sight of all the sobbing children crouched over the corpses of their own parents. There was a chance they might have been alive still. Everyone was shaking them desperately. There was no use. Each of the children confirmed the deaths of their own parents. Dr. Najo and I confirmed that Genji-sama was dead. Such a brutal way to be killed. No one is going to mistakenly confirm a death, even those other than myself. It looks like all the victims died instantly. After inspecting the interior of the dining hall, we determined that all the doors and the windows had been locked, making it a closed room, as usual. And nothing suspicious was found inside the dining hall. Of course, there was no one hiding in the dining hall either. Naturally. All of us are here right now. It's clear that no one is hiding. But Dad, if that's true, it doesn't make sense. 6 people were killed in the dining hall as a closed room. How could someone have killed them and escaped? I'd rather not think of it. Perhaps the servants with their master keys are the most suspicious. Of course, you're always saying that. Is there any way to lock up from the outside without a master key? No, there isn't. That's not enough. I'll say it with the red truth. All doors can only be locked or unlocked with a master key. Of course, it is possible to lock or unlock the door from inside the room even without a master key. There you have it! Any other questions? Should there be keys to each individual room in addition to the master keys? Normally those would exist. However, they make the game more complicated, so I've eliminated them. Red truth. We'll consider master keys to be the only keys that exist. In other words, all of the locks that appear in this game can only be locked and unlocked by master keys. In that case, we should check the number of master keys and who holds them. There are 5 master keys total. One is held by each of the 5 servants. The keys will be managed in a special way. Servants keep master keys on their person at all times, so it's impossible for them to be stolen, handed over, or used by any human other than themselves. What the heck? Now they're sounding less like keys and more like a fingerprinting system. That's an interesting metaphor. In other words, in this world of the game, it isn't the master keys, but the 5 servants themselves that can lock and unlock doors. I tried to retrieve Genji-san's master keys but had no luck. To guard against trouble later on, we destroyed Genji's master key. This was the crime of the first Twilight. The scene was the lost closed room in the dining hall. None of the servants holding master keys have alibis. Then again, no one else has an alibi either. Second Twilight! Alright, let's see. Everyone returned to the parlor to discuss what should be done next. The phones were out so they couldn't clear up. Okay, it's not updating this thing, though. Vada's room was locked. It's just like the dining hall. Okay. After getting everyone's suspicion, I unlocked the door. While somehow they sprawled on the floor inside the room. Fernando checked their pulse, and he announced that the 2 of them had died instantly. Correct, so I confirmed both of their deaths. There can be no doubt that they died instantly. I searched all over the room looking for a clue. In the end, I found the windows and doors that had been locked, making a closed room. All of us servants were together the whole time. All of our servants can prove an alibi for all of the other servants. Now that's interesting. So you're saying that this closed room is even more complete. In the case of the first closed room, no one had an alibi. So for this closed room, all of them have alibis. And no, as well, the servants themselves become living master keys. Since those servants have perfect alibis, it was impossible to lock Natsuhi's room. We decided to preserve the crime scene as was. We put tracking tape all over the outside of the doors and windows, sealing them. Oh, here we go. We also sealed the dining hall. We reached the conclusion the entire mansion itself should be preserved. We also sealed the mansion itself, and all of us took refuge in the guest house. They sealed the whole mansion? Backing tape on all the windows? They even used a ladder for the windows on the 3rd floor? The game may get complicated otherwise, so I've simplified it. All of the windows had steel bars on them, so it's impossible to enter or leave by them. Therefore, we'll say they can seal the whole mansion by sealing the 2 doors, the front one and the back one. Got it. That makes it easy. What do you think? Actually, killing the 2 people in Natsuhi's room would be easy. Someone just had to knock and get them to open the door. However, they couldn't lock it afterwards. Only the servants can lock doors, but all of the servants have alibis. Unless the servants are all in on it together. More importantly, the first Twilight has me suspicious. You think that one of the 6 who died in the dining hall was actually alive and committed the crime? It's because of Erica. Can't help but be suspicious when people are examining corpses. So you think that one of the first 6 victims was alive? Yeah, and afterwards they killed Kraus and Natsuhi. Then they locked the door from the inside, hid inside the room, and found a good chance to escape. That theory does make logical sense. I'll say it in red. The culprit of the first Twilight really did kill 6 people. Then I'll take a shot with the blue truth. Here is the true nature of this closed room. The culprit locked the door from the inside, then hid in Natsuhi's room. Then after everyone left, they found an opportunity to escape. Sure, I'll deny that in red. The group sealed the room at the same time they left. No culprit joined the group as they left. Also, all of the seals in Nazi's room, the dining hall, and the mansion itself would not be broken. In other words, you can't use that trick when they hide under the bed and slip out later. Interesting. How's going, Ben Castell? Thanks. Fourth Twilight! What happened to the third one? Oh, those are yes, outside hole up. Yep. Rosie-san got upset, so we all went outside to look for them. We found Shannon riding the Rose Garden. Later on, we learned that George Nissan alone had an alibi. At the very least, George Nissan couldn't possibly kill Shannon. To turn it around, anyone other than George Aniki could have killed her. We ran the culprit from meeting at any mistress. We destroyed the master key Shannon had at the spot. At the time Shannon is killed, Canon goes missing forever. From now on, Canon is treated as being killed. Also, Canon's master key is treated as being destroyed. Well, I thought it'd be rude, so I kept quiet about it. But that's what happens when Shannon dies. In other words, we can interpret this in Shannon and Canon being killed at the same time, even though we're missing a corpse. That's right. Looks like the crimes are moving along. So yeah, it's interesting. It's like basically saying if you hadn't figured it out already, you know, Shannon and Canon are the same person. So if Shannon dies, then Canon's dead, and vice versa. My god, this game is long. It is very long. To be fair, this is the last episode, so we are getting close to the end. This is the crime of the fourth Twilight. The scene was the Rose Garden. There were no locks or doors. It wasn't a closed room, so the master keys were no longer a factor. And the pace of the crime began to accelerate. Okay. Fifth and sixth Twilight. Everyone took shelter in the guest house, and they sealed all the doors and windows. Several closed room movements occurred. In both Goda-san and Kumasawa-san's cases, such wounds would have resulted in instant death, I believe. Interesting. Okay, I feel like that's a different way he's put it to previous things, but I don't know. Because Dr. Nanjo couldn't have killed Goda-san or Kumasawa-san. I think let's call for someone other than that. The guest house was still closed, so locked up. Seventh Twilight. This time Dr. Nanjo was killed. He died in the entrance hall of the guest house. Judging by the circumstances, Maria, Butler, George Nissan, and I couldn't have killed Dr. Nanjo. No one could kill Dr. Nanjo inside the guest house. Why? This is okay. This is proof Dr. Nanjo didn't leave the guest house. Oh. Three of us were together the whole time. Georgiana, Kimura, and I couldn't have killed Jessica. Ryuchan couldn't kill anyone. Hehe, thanks. Okay. Georgiana-chan couldn't kill an adult. Couldn't kill an adult. He could kill a kid, though. What the hell? I don't understand at all. What the hell's going on here? This was the 8th Twilight. The crime scene was outside. However, the three chased after Jessica's alibis. So is there really someone hiding on this island apart from the Ishinomiya family? The curtain is lowered on his tale for now. That's all for my tale. It's pretty well made. If you had a full-on reader, it'd stand up well against Vito's game. Oh, interesting. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's like with the reader, you have an actual story, but if there's no reader, inverted commas, it is quite literally just a plot synopsis, which is what this was. It was just a plot synopsis. I agree there. You did a good job. Well, the real work comes from taking this, reading it, and making worthy a proper theater go. Yeah, it's quite literally. Still, I'm stumped. On the face of it, just a logic puzzle, exactly. Oh god, like one of the puzzles that I got wrong, like one of the stupid... On the face of it, the culprit has to be some mysterious person outside the Ishinomiya family, and that would be the same as acknowledging the existence of a witch. You can also suspect the existence of some accomplices aiding the culprit. By the way, what was that purple text all about? A new rule? I call them purple statements. It's a rule I made to make the story a bit easier to follow. Just think of the purple statements as important spoken statements. Like, in other words, you might be able to ignore the spoken statements that aren't purple. So basically you're saying the purple statements are like the bold text, right? It's the bold text, or the you know, the colored text in Zelda games. Oh, well, that's nice for you. Now the purple statements as reliable as red truth. Yes, you can think of the purple statements as having the same power as red truth. However, there's one exception. A culprit can tell lies with purple statements. I see. Turn around, anyone who isn't a culprit can't tell lies. Oh god, it's like that stupid puzzle they were just talking about before. Purple statements. You seem to be the key to Lady Berncastell's game. I got that one wrong! I don't know what I'm supposed to do! The definition of culprit is one who murders. It's possible for a culprit to lie. It's possible for a culprit to lie even before committing murder. Characters who are not culprits only speak the truth. Characters who are not culprits may not cooperate with a culprit. A culprit must carry out all murders directly by their own hands. A culprit must not die. A culprit must not be among the characters appearing in the story. Purple statements are as absolute as red truths. However, the culprit alone may lie with purple statements. That's all. The definition of culprit is one who murders. Makes sense. It is possible for a culprit to lie. That seems reasonable enough too. It's possible for a culprit to lie even before committing murder. Well, no surprises there. Characters not culprits only speak the truth. How convenient! Characters who are not culprits may not cooperate with the culprit, right? The culprit can't make accomplices tell lies to match their version of events. Damn. I guess if someone manufactured an alibi to cover the culprit, but... Ah, too bad. A culprit must carry out all murders directly by their own hands. In other words, there are no remote or indirect methods of murder, like traps. A culprit must not die. In other words, they can't commit murder, form a closed room, then commit suicide inside it. Right, yeah. Doesn't that also mean dead people can't be culprits? That's a simple yet vital piece of information. A culprit must be among the characters appearing in the story. This isn't some mysterious stranger back on the island. The appearing characters are the same old 17 people after Kinto is removed. No one else appears in the story, so no one else matters. Purple statements are absolute red truths. However, the culprit alone may lie with purple statements. Oh, here's a troublesome one. Might be the heart of this game. Does that cover all of this game's basic rules? Besides that, I guess there's only the reader will tell no lies. In other words, outside of spoken statements, there are no lies in the narration. I could have added that stuff if I wanted to, but it'd be a pain and make things complicated. So, you willingly abandoned a witch's privileges. You seem quite confident. She probably plans to win despite that. That's all from me. I don't intend to give you any more hints or answer any more questions. As the Observer, I'll proclaim this once again. I guarantee that it's possible to pinpoint the culprit with this information. Ah, don't say that. I've got no idea. Got it. Oh god, this is a real game between you and me. I recommend finding some paper and something to write with. I do have paper. That if you really intend to fight me. If you do get completely stuck, maybe you should listen in on Battler and Beto's reasoning. We'll have those 3 hints when you get absolutely stumped and can't move forward. Still, I'd rather fight you one-on-one. Thanks, Ryukishu07. If you plan to enjoy a little duel, and try defeating me by your own power alone without relying on hints. Okay, let's enjoy ourselves, shall we? Enjoy this game I've created just for you. Actually, hang on. Good idea. Let's just save. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. This is like this is like fucking this is like it's like just Monica. Like just seeing Bernie's fucking smug face just staring and being like, alright, you gonna do it now? You gonna do it now? What is this? Read again? Oh no, it's just the whole thing. Oh good god, okay. Okay, now can I just okay, oh god, oh good god, sure rules. Okay, oh god. Oh my goodness. Oh god. Oh, where do I even begin? Alright, that's purple statements, I guess. This is no, it should be chapter 8. Did I get it wrong? Is it saying chapter 7 on the stream thing? Let me double check. No, it says episode 8, so everything's fine. Oh god, where do I even... Oh, you're checking actually where it's at. Oh good god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. God, where do we even... but it's saying... on the one hand, I want hints, but on the other hand, you get an achievement if you do it without getting it without any hints. Can I go back? Yeah, you can. Okay. You say select the culprit, and then return to main menu, I guess. No! Stop looking at me like that, Bernie! Fuck you! No, no hints. If I do the... Alright. By character... I mean, it does say that... No, it just says a culprit must not die, right? So, I guess... So, I guess it's like, it could be a situation where one of the corpses has been dead this entire time. And it's just, like... I'll have to check everybody else's purple text, I guess, because if somebody, for example, I guess I guess we have to just check the purple, because okay, by chapter. All right, what? Why is this one red? Oh yeah, because that's red keys, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting. So dining hall was okay. So I think at this point I think the only option is probably that one of the corpses wasn't dead, and so they've just been hiding hiding their death the entire time. Like that seems like the most likely option, but let's double check then. Okay, so Shannon's saying each of the children confirmed the deaths of their own parents, and then Kano's saying Dr. Nanjo and I confirmed that Genji Smuff's dead. Okay. I mean, yes, this stuff like this did happen earlier, or at least something like that. So it could be, for example, this thing. For example, if Dr. Nanjo was the culprit, for example, because here he's saying Dr. Nanjo and Canon both confirmed that Genji was dead. So it wouldn't matter if Nanjo was lying because Canon was also telling the truth, right? So okay, if we continue with the idea that Nanjo is the culprit, then I mean I don't know about the closed room stuff though, which is the issue, but so if I say Nanjo, if we go back, if we do, if we say, for example, what Nanjo is saying, no one is going to mistakenly confirm a death. And then second Twilight, I confirm both their deaths. There can be no doubt they died instantly. Oh, good God. Oh, God. Alright, then we have... God, oh, God. Madam Jim was locked. Shannon unlocked the door. Oh, God, this is... On the one hand, I want to go through this properly. On the other hand, I don't know how long it will take me to even figure this out or where to begin. Pen and paper are definitely a necessity here. Okay, well, thank you for telling me, but also, good God. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Like, I want to do this, but I don't want to do this on stream, because I feel like I'm going to be wasting everybody's time. Because I'm just going to be going around in circles. Alright, here we also say that Najo says that they sealed the mansion. Because it's just this thing where he's saying, judging by these wounds, Goto and Kumasawa died instantly, I believe. Judging by it's just a different way that I don't know. It just seems weird and suspicious. Although he does say, So, okay, well, alright, and here's another situation, I guess. So, for example, George says, with the purple, that Maria couldn't kill anybody. So that means that only one person can be able to lie using the purple truth. So that means if George, well, if George was lying, then that means that Maria would be the culprit, which doesn't make any sense because. Oh, I guess no, not necessarily because he's just saying that. Uh, all right, let's try this again. Okay. I. Yeah, culprits can lie, but it doesn't mean that they are always lying. That's also a problem. Ugh, God. This is so evil. So, okay, go to the first thing. So, okay, like, let's, if we go one by one. Here we're saying, Goda is saying the dining hall was locked. But no, okay, no, they were saying that all the doors in the way that's been locked, so that doesn't matter. Is it? Okay, I mean, okay, oh, I guess there's the one. No, I was gonna say, then could there be multiple culprits? But then it's saying, because it's just saying a culprit is defined as one who murders. But then when you select the culprit, you can only choose one, right? Oh no, no, never mind. You can choose multiple. Oh god, no, god, oh god, this makes it so much more complicated. Oh no. Oh no. Because. Oh my god. No, I don't want to read it again. Because, like, okay. I was thinking, oh, you know. So they're saying this whole thing about, so, you know, I was thinking, oh, you know, it could be that there's two culprits, and then one of them gets murdered, but then the other one was also a culprit. But the problem is, one of the rules says, crap, no, that's not what I meant. Oh, you have to click on it. Okay, you got to click on that to actually get the hint. So it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. The problem is, it says a culprit must not die. So it could be a situation where no, let's go by chapter again. Let's see if there's anyone where there's multiple hints. Yeah, I could imagine there's multiple hints as well. I'm just seeing if I can do this without, if I can get the Steam achievement, because the Steam achievement is you get a Steam achievement for correctly guessing the culprit without using any of the hints. So I want to see if I can do that. even though I'm terrible at this shit. So, okay. So, alright, like for example, here we got it so that each of the children confirm the deaths of their own parents. So that means that, good thing they only have one child each, right? So, if one of them were lying, if one of them was not dead, but no, he's saying the doctor. I'm like, okay, for example, Genji is definitely dead. And which means, and Genji, no, I was like, that means that Genji can't be no, yeah, because a culprit must not die. So basically we know, let's just say, let's just say, okay, Genji, no, is not the culprit, because two people have confirmed that he was dead. And that means that you can't have one, even if one person was lying, only one. No, but they could be both. They could both be culprits. But no, because unless all of them are culprits that they've all murdered at one point. And then, like for example, if Canon killed Shannon, for example, because we don't see their corpse. Oh jeez, oh god, I'm so confused. Just saying from now on, Canon is treated as being killed, but doesn't actually say that Canon is dead? So, Canon could be a culprit. But I mean, even if Genji is a culprit, like, so we, no, because then that would mean it would have to be Genji, and Canon, and Dr. Nanjo. But they also say no. But they also say that the culprit must not die. I don't, oh my god, I'm going insane. I am actually going insane. I'm not actually not going insane, but. Canon corpse always goes missing for mysterious reasons in the first 4 games. But yes, but we know what those mysterious reasons are now. It's because Canon and Shannon are the same person. So we can't have them reveal that by having them both be alive at the same time. Oh god, but so Canon could be a culprit because we don't know. Hang on. Yeah, because so Shannon and Canon go outside, right? So, that means that Canon is outside. So Canon, for example, could have murdered Jessica. Because we're just saying that Canon is treated as being... no. Is treated as being killed? Oh, good god, my head is... It's too much. There are just too many things. I don't even know where to start. That's the problem. There's just so many things. Okay, Canon's corpse always goes missing. So Canon could... It could have been that Canon is... It's just saying Canon is treated as being killed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Canon is dead. Canon's master key doesn't really matter because unless the master keys do matter. Like, I've been ignoring the master keys this entire time. Oh god, I can't. You know what? I'm. No, I'm like, I want to get a hint because I just don't know where to start. I mean, I know where to start, but there's just too many things. I guess let's go back to the... I guess there is the situation that if somebody says that, yeah, they destroyed if Nazi, for example, says Nazi was a culprit, but no, because they're saying that the culprit must not die, so they're saying a culprit must not die, which means if there are multiple people are the culprit, it has to be the case that even if they're... either the person who confirms their death in the purple is like the final culprit that's alive, or yeah, it has to be, or there's just maybe the person who if it was like, for example, the person, if the person who can no. The culprit of the first Twilight really did kill 6 people. So, like, that's kind of saying that that it was an external thing and it wasn't that somebody who committed suicide, right? But if they say they committed suicide, do they count it? Does that mean they killed 6 people, or do they mean that they killed 5 people and themselves, and they killed themselves, so that means they did 6 people? Oh, good God. No, I'm... Like, for example, if Nanjo says that all of us took refuge in the guest house, and that wasn't true, then that also means that you know, somebody was still alive, kind of thing. Okay, one of the rules was culprit can't die, so they can't kill themselves. Okay, you're right. Thanks for that. Oh God. Okay. So if they can't kill themselves, which it means that yeah, the first Twilight can't be a suicide. Oh no, I can't do this. It's too much. It's too complicated. Hey, what happens if I guess wrong? I'm actually curious. Now I just want to know what happens if I guess wrong. Okay, what is it actually? Hang on. First of all, what does the Steam achievement actually say? Steam achievements, Steam page. Okay. Get every medal. Find the culprit without any hints. So it doesn't actually say find on the first go, but maybe you get a game over. I want to see if you get a game over if you do this, because that'll be funny. No, unpin. No. Sorry, that was an accident. So like what happens? Because now I'm just curious. If I say the culprit select and say it was Nanjo and let me know that. Let's go back to let's if okay. Let's if we say that no, I mean we don't know how he would have gotten to do all that stuff, but so if we say that Genji was pretending to be dead, and he disappeared before they sealed the dining hall, and just been hiding outside. I guess they're more likely to be canon then, because then they're saying the four cousins Dr. Nanjo couldn't have killed Goda and Kumasawa, and the guest house was clocked up. So, okay, for example, let's say if it was Nanjo, for example, Nanjo and Genji, or Nanjo and somebody else, for example. Like Nanjo and Natsuhi and Kraus, for example. So that could be potential. Well, I still don't know about I still don't know about the first Twilight. That's the problem. But if it, for example, it could work if it was Nanjo and somebody else, because Nanjo could say they were dead even though they weren't dead. Then they could pretend to be dead, even though the Purple Truth does say that he is dead. Unless he gets, like, he got betrayed or something? They couldn't have killed Dr. Nanjo. No one could kill Dr. Nanjo inside the guest house. So, for example, when Dr. Nanjo didn't leave the guest house, the Cobra has to be alive at the end, so if we think it was Nanjo, we need a reason how he got around Purple Death. He got around Purple Truth about his death, it's true. Yeah, because there's multiple people that have said that, and I don't... Like, it just feels like it would be too easy for it to say that it's just one of the cousins, because, like... I mean... Let's go back to... Right. Because only the culprit can lie, and only the culprit can... Only the culprit can lie, and only the culprit can be alive. No, not as in... What was I gonna say? Like, even if... Yeah, if... A culprit can't die, and a culprit has to... And only a culprit can lie. So... If there are two culprits, then one of them has to be somebody who isn't dead. unless no, no, okay. Okay, so for example, okay, so mate, all right, let's go back to the first one. Let's go back to the first Twilight, maybe. Because, so the three cousins are, because the cousins are alive at the end, so which means one of them could have been a culprit. That means that they're the most likely option for a culprit. And the other reason is, but they said that the cousins were the ones who confirmed the deaths of their parents, right? So for example, if, I mean, it still doesn't explain the master keys though, is the issue. But if, for example, so, okay, so they're saying the children confirm the deaths of their parents, which means that George George would have to confirm the deaths of Ava and Hideyoshi, and Battler would have confirmed the deaths of his parents. So that means if one of them was the culprit, that means that they could lie and then say that one of these corpses. They did say that the person really did kill 6 people. And that's not in some of the other ones. Jessica, Maria. So what? Yes, like what could it have been a situation that they could have had was that clearly there's probably 2 culprits, and one of them. So then it couldn't have been the first Twilight because they did say in red that the culprit really did kill 6 people. So that means it's not one of them. Maybe it's one of the cousins, and then all right, then we go. Character? No. A chapter. Unless... All of our servants can prove an alibi for all the other servants. Okay, so let's say if it's... Okay. Unless if Shannon is... No, but Shannon's dead. So Shannon can't be a culprit. Unless that's... No, no, she's dead. I'm completely, I'm lost again. Now I'm thinking like, oh, what if it was like George, and then like one of his parents is still alive and they're covering for them, and then Canon or something. Oh, but its treat is being destroyed. Does that mean it was? Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Do I keep going or do I just say screw it, I want to finish this game? That's the question. It's in red, so I think it's fine to consider it true. Okay, alright. Alright. Alright, anyway, so my theory is at the moment... No, I was gonna say, like, my theory at the moment is that obviously that somebody in the guest house, in the mansion, was pretending to be dead. And the person who vouched for their death was covering for them. And then they managed to get out. And then that's how they could kill everybody else who's been waiting outside. But that doesn't explain Dr. Nanjo, and it doesn't explain... Alright, I'm curious, so I want to see what happens if I get it wrong. I wonder what I'm just curious now. What happens if I get it wrong? Alright. Okay, I guess this is what happens when you get it wrong, I guess. Okay, so it doesn't... Interesting. Okay. I guess that's what happens. So I guess I don't have the achievement anymore, but it doesn't matter. I guess that gives me a bit more. So we've got to figure out everybody who can't be the culprit then, which means all the people who are definitely dead because they've been confirmed by more than one person, right? So let's for example Genji, but Genji does not say anything with the purple truth because he's dead. So that doesn't really help. Okay. Next. Second Twilight. Let's check this. Okay, that's just Nanjo. But I mean, they seem the most likely to be actually dead. So what did Kraus and Nazi say? Nazi says it destroyed Genji's master key. That's true, and that's true. Okay. Everyone gathered in the dining hall. All the doors and windows have been locked, and nobody is hiding. That doesn't help me. It doesn't really help me at all. Around Shannon and Canon, right? What does Shannon say? Children confirm the deaths of their parents, and she is a culprit. I mean, she couldn't be a culprit because two people have confirmed her death, which means that she is. That was true. That each. Well, I mean, of course that's true. She wasn't lying there. And then she unlocks the door, and the servants were all together for the whole time. Which means that I don't know what that means. Just that the servants weren't the ones who weren't the culprits, I guess. They're saying that all of the servants are the culprits, aren't the culprits, and we know that it's not Nanjo. I'm stuck again. Yeah, if you confirm Shannon is saying red truth, then all the servants have to be. I mean, is it? Because yeah, so we know that Shannon is definitely dead because two people have confirmed their deaths and her deaths, and one of them died as well afterwards. Meaning, so it's very unlikely that they're all playing dead unless this is going absolutely insane. And so she's saying that all the servants were together the whole time during the second Twilight, which means none of the servants could have killed them. Which means that all of the servants. Oh, and if all of the servants are innocent, then what do all the other servants say? I guess the problem is Nanjo isn't a servant, so that's why it gets confusing. Unless he does count as a servant, I honestly don't know. About Jessica. Actually, that's a good question. That's a good point. Me, in my head. She probably died instantly. There's no way she could live through this. So he says she probably died, but she doesn't say that she is dead or anything like that. But Maria's the one who says that she's definitely dead. Not that it really matters. I don't think even if Jessica was pretending to be dead, that wouldn't really mean anything. Probably. Because they can't both be. This isn't really helping me. Okay, so that's a no. Okay, I see what I mean. Yeah, that part I've understood. Alright, let's see. People who are dead that is more reliable than purple statements. See, now my problem is I don't know what's going on with the keys. Yeah, okay, saying start with deads with reds. Okay, that's what you mean by okay. Okay, thanks for the help there. So basically what we're saying is first Twilight, which means so okay, we're back here again. We know Genji is definitely not the culprit, and we know that Canon is not. Alright, we also know is that there's all of the servants are all no? So then all servants, maybe? Okay. Then, if we do that, then we go to the servants. If we know that, okay, yeah, that doesn't tell us that the children confirm the death of the parents. That doesn't matter because they're lying, so that doesn't really matter. Shannon unlocking the door doesn't really mean anything. The servants together, that's the same thing as Canon was saying. Alright, Godo saying the dining hall was locked. I mean, that's fine. We kind of already knew it was a closed room. And the madam's room was locked, so it's also a closed room, as Ritz helped last much. That nobody had an alibi for the fourth Twilight, and that they destroyed the master key that Shannon had. So they didn't use the master key, Shannon's master key, okay? And then Kumasawa doesn't tell us much at all. Helpful. Okay, that's all we've got at this point. So if it's not the servants, and then we also know that the other thing that is in red, or the other things that are in red, is that the culprit of the first Twilight really did kill 6 people. And we know everybody else, so that means it couldn't have been the parents, because they're saying it's only 6 people. So if it's not any of the people who died at the first Twilight, then what do we have left? Just the cousins and Nanjo. We know it's not Nanjo because he's probably dead, or at least also doesn't say that he was dead, right? So okay, so this. With 5 options removed at least, yeah. I mean, so now I'm looking at George's statements, and so I guess George could be a little bit suspicious. First of all, because he's saying that George could kill a kid. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean. I guess that doesn't actually mean any. It depends whether you count Shannon and Canon as kids, maybe. So you could say that he did those, but then somebody else did the other ones. But and if George is saying that Maria didn't kill anybody, but George, Maria, and I couldn't have killed Jessica. And this is like, if it's... So that's the thing. So I guess the other thing is that George is saying that nobody was hiding in the dining hall. And so if he is the culprit, because he is one of the people who's alive at the end, and if he's working with Nanjo, alright, I might be onto something here. Because if that was the case, then it could be that one of them had been hiding in the dining hall, and George was lying about that. Maybe Nanjo or something. And so everybody, either George or Nanjo, killed all of the adults on the first Twilight. I don't know about the second Twilight. Okay, so then if we check the second Twilight, basically saying that Nanjo So I mean, they can't. The problem is, even if he's lying about them being dead, they still can't escape because they've kind of already checked everything. Unless, hang on. The doors and the windows, and the main room, and the dining hall, and then in the mansion. Yeah, but then nobody has a. So then, if that was the case, it could be that Nanjo, for example, killed Shannon. And then. All right, let's do the next wild mass guessing theory. Combination of Nanjo and George. No, that was a no. Okay. Okay, and he just confirmed by the narration. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't want to go through all the narration because that's fucking pain. But okay, got it. All right. Sure. Okay. That's all right then. Let's do it then. Yeah, that's what tripped me up when I did this part. I couldn't do it without the hints because I didn't think I'd have to go through the narration again. Yeah, I mean, it's also just, I didn't want to because that's annoying. That's a lot of stuff here. Okay, well that doesn't. So there was no confirmation of their death there with the narration this time. That there. So let's keep going, I guess. Okay. Urza. Master keys were gone. Okay. Well, at least that's a narration. Doesn't really tell me much, though. There we go. Okay, Nanjo definitely did. Okay. Nanjo equals dead. Okay. That's, yeah. Alright, that helps that... Okay, if that's the case then, that means that everything that Nanjo says has to be the truth. Because his death was confirmed with the narration. Great. Got it. Okay, no one is going to mistakenly confirm a death. Okay, sure. Doesn't really help them that much, but... Okay, so that means that if that's the case, then if we just don't worry about that stuff. Nanjo is dead. That means... What you call it? Natsuhi and Kraus are dead. Chano is dead. Yep. And then, yeah, Goro and Kumasawa are dead. But that's fine, because we already know that the servants... Because Shannon already... So basically, it's still not the servants. Yep, Nanjo is a big win because he confirmed so many deaths. Yeah. Okay. So, but we know that. So that means Natsuhi and Kraus... Okay, so if Natsuhi and Kraus are dead, then, well, I mean, Jessica's dead anyway, so that doesn't really matter. So, we know that Jessica isn't... So basically, it's either... So it could be essential... Alright, problem is... Problem is... So, if Shannon and... No. You see, the thing that's getting me is the red about the first Twilight has to be 6 people. And we know that they can't take the... I guess it could have been George, and then George was hiding this whole time. And that's why the hiding part was... If we go back... Okay, I guess we'll go back again to... Genji's Master Key and Genji's. So, Goda's, Kumasawa's, and Genji's. And then, what about... And Canon's. Plus Canon. And then what about Shannon's? Goda did, but Goda is definitely dead, so... Okay, so they all get destroyed. Okay. So I still think I think it is probably George with somebody, because he's saying he's lying about there being nobody hiding in the dining hall. And so he could have killed everybody and then hid in the dining hall. Then the second... Then what was the second Twilight? Oh, and then also no. Okay, the group sealed the room at the same time they left. No culprit joined the room as they left. All the seals in Nazi's room won't be broken. So I don't know about then the George hiding theory might not work. And we've already checked that George is. Unless it's unless it really is Battler again. I mean, I just didn't really think about it, but. So if it's Battler and his parents, for example. If it was Battler and his parents and then there's a secret tunnel through the thing, then like like if we did say, for example, it was Battler and his parents. Wait, was that right? Oh shit, I got it. Holy shit. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, it makes sense because it's a good joke. I mean, it's what's the word? It's a good narration. It's a good like thematic thing. Be like, haha, I made it. You and your parents are the culprits. Fuck you. But huh, I got it by myself. I mean, I did need the hints to be fair, but I did do a lot of wild mass guessing. But Benny being super fucking mean, yeah. I mean, because I think the thing that got me as well, though, with that issue, well, in fact, I'm actually still not sure about the culprit really did kill 6 people. So that part, unless they're, hang on, oh well, now I can't check, but unless they were saying, oh god, what were they saying when they're saying the culprit really did kill 6 people? They mean that the culprit collectively, that is, they didn't kill 6 people in the first Twilight. They killed 6 people overall, and then Battler killed some of the others. Is that what they were saying? If that's the case, interesting. And I feel really fucking smart by accident, but alright. Somebody? Is anybody there? Oni-chan? Ah! Where are they? Where? Answer me! Yeah, it doesn't say they killed all 6 people on the first Twilight, or that they killed on every single Twilight. Oh! Oh, okay. Alright, wow. I'm actually, okay. I'm saying like, wow, I'm surprised I got it, even though like, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of went through all of the other options, and there kind of wasn't any other options that I could really think of at that point. But, yeah. Alright, I feel a bit better about myself, even though obviously I couldn't do it without the hints, but that was pretty good. Oni-chan! Damn it. I don't have a clue anymore. Someone must have snuck in from outside the island after all. And they're massacring the Ushirimiya family. Burn said that after the second Twilight. What did she say? Sorry, lag and stuff. I'm not exactly sure what bit you're referring to. Whenever we lock ourselves in, someone always gets killed. It's the work of a witch after all. Everyone calm down. Let's calm down and think. No one exists on this island except those with a direct relation to the Ushirimiya family. For example, that's right, maybe someone was playing dead. Since we're the only ones in the islands, the culprit must be one of us. I mean, someone we thought was dead was actually faking. Yeah, what if those corpse inspections were also faked? Could have gone like this. There were multiple culprits from the start. Then one plays dead and the other lies and confirms that the first culprit died. Then the culprit who plays dead keeps on committing crimes, creating the illusion that some stranger has snuck onto the island. She still suspects someone in the Ushirimiya family. Dr. Nanjo was killed, so it's probably safe to say he isn't the culprit, and we can consider the examination performed by a doctor like him to be the most reliable. So if so, it's fair to say that people whose death Nanjo checked are most certainly dead. He checked Genji, Ralph and Natsuhi, Shannon, and Goda and Kumasawa. Of those 6 victims, Dr. Nanjo only inspected Genji. Dr. Nanjo didn't actually inspect them himself, yeah. Oh yeah, right. And then George couldn't kill Shannon, but Maria, yeah, and Maria and Battler could have, but we got that thing being like Maria couldn't kill anybody or something. Battler, you saw your dad and mom's corpses, right? Yeah, I saw them. We all saw them, right? Those pitiful bloodstained. I think you're lying. Huh? Where the hell did that come from? Because that way it all makes sense. Back at the dining hall, Battler's parents weren't dead. One of them killed Aunt Nazi and Uncle Kraus, locked the door from the inside, and waited in that room. The other one took over the murders after that. Okay. To break open the closed room of the guest house, they needed to have an accomplice inside. That was Battler. That explains everything. Finally, all the pieces fit together in the wolves and sheep's puzzle inside my head. The culprit's a Battler's family. Am I right? What are you talking about? Correct. Yeah, there we go. Oh, Gerudo, I'm curious. I'm so glad you're Oh no! Evil Battler! He doesn't have the gun though. Okay, yeah. Alright, but Burn said after the second Twilight, the culprit of the first Twilight really did kill six people. Okay. Right. That makes sense. Okay. So they're saying that, yeah, because they did kill 6 people, because 6 people, including Natsuhi and a Kraus, and that's why she only said it then as opposed to after that. That's clever. That's clever. I'm glad I kind of figured it out, even if I needed a lot of hints and I essentially guessed it right. Dad, Mom. Man, I shouldn't. I should have just. I shouldn't have forgotten the heart. Of course, she would make it so that it was Anja's specific beloved family were all the culprits, because that would be the thing that would traumatize her the most if she shoved her into a fragment like that. I should have figured this out from the beginning. Kyrie and Rudolph are the culprits. Battler is the culprit. Battler is the culprit. Battler culprit theory. Battler's family culprit theory. At first, everyone joined in on the Ava culprit theory. The sole survivor from Rokkenjima got almost all the wealth to herself, so such a theory was almost only natural. Why was Ushirami Ava the only one who escaped to Ecuadorian? And why did she refuse so stubbornly to talk about what had happened that day? It was decided the Ava culprit theory fit all those facts. However, when Ava died of illness and people learned that all the vast wealth she had created by the unscrupulous means would go to Anj, public opinion, or rather, the Forgers, created and spread a new culprit theory. Okay, that's what this is all about. This is how this all comes into it. This was the Rudolph's family culprit theory. If it was normal for everyone to come to the family conferences, why was Ange the only one who didn't come this time? Did Rudolph's family have some reason for not bringing the young Ange with them? They did take Battler, but he wasn't Kyrie's son. Then when it was revealed some magazines Kyrie's family had close ties to a massive gangster organization, all eyes suddenly gathered on Kyrie herself. The truth of how Rudolph made a killing out of forging business practices, and almost immediately the couple became thought of the most suspicious people on the island. Hideyoshi and Ava's company might have been heavy-handed, but at least it operated within the law. And so, in a flash, the Rudolph's family culprit theory expelled the other conspiracy theories, including the Ava culprit theory, and reigned as the greatest of them all. Alright, and so that explains why Ava is so... why Anja is so caught up about it. It wasn't really because it was more plausible than the Eva culprit theory. They had just gotten bored of the old theory and wanted a new sensation. Go Kigenyo, bitches! Did you hear? The real culprits were Rudolph and Kyrie. I heard. Yeah, I knew there was something suspicious about them leaving their kid behind. Didn't Ishimi Eva say herself that she was poisoned to death? Isn't it obvious who was behind that? Must be nice for her. She gets her whole family's riches all to herself, right? I always knew the Rudolph's family culprit theory was right. I always thought there was something wrong with Ushiramiya-san. Rudolph and Kyrie are culprits. Isn't Battler a culprit too? Rudolph's family culprit theory. Rudolph and Kyrie are the killers. They tried to get the family wealth all to themselves, but Ava killed them back and they failed. But in the end, Ushiramiya Ange gets everything anyway, doesn't she? Rudolph and Kyrie are the culprits, of course. Rudolph's family culprit theory. Rudolph and Kyrie and Battler are the culprits. Rudolph and Kyrie and Battler are the culprits. You're saying your family were the culprits, Ushiramiya-san? What do you think of that? Hey, what do you think? But in the end, you get all the family wealth to yourself, don't you? Even at the end, Ushiramiya Ava never told you anything, right? I always knew that girl was suspicious. This also explains why Ava hated you so much. Hey, say something. Tell us what you think. She really is a creepy kid, isn't she? Can't you at least tell us what you think of this theory, creep? Okay, who future trunks them this time? Sway. The cat? But I thought the cat was evil. Unless it's Featherine or something. Where are we running to, Mr. Cat? Mr. Cat, what should we do? We're surrounded. Rudolph, Kyrie, and Badler are the culprits. Rudolph and Kyrie played dead, and Badler lied when he inspected them. Then one of the parents carried out the murders up until the second twilight and hid under the bed in Nazi's room. Badler killed Shannon and then assisted in the murders in the guest house. The other parent carried out the guest house murders. This is the truth. Counter. It's possible to form a logical theory other than the Rudolph's family culprit theory. Is it Battler? Come on. Unless it's, like, Will. Or Beatrice, actually. Anything besides the Rudolph family culprit theory would be impossible. Absolutely impossible. It's possible to form a logical explanation other than the Rudolph's family culprit theory. For example, a theory with George's family as the culprit is possible. Okay. So, you mean to say that I could have chosen that and gotten it right as well? A George's family culprit theory is impossible. George can't kill Shannon, so he can't be a culprit and he can't lie when checking corpses. No, it is possible. A culprit is defined as one who murders. No one ever said they have to murder a character who appears in the story. Okay. In other words, if George committed murder outside the island sometime before this crime, he could be a culprit without killing anyone on the island, and it would be possible for him to lie. Okay. It's true. I did think about that, but obviously that wasn't the answer for this puzzle because that was too complicated. Massive scythe that could speak red and blue. I was gonna say that that's Lanor, but I don't know. Oh shit! It's Erica! Oh shit! Oh, now that's a good, that is a fucking great entrance, Erica! Hang on 1 second. So from what I'm hearing, it's anime bullshit time. Is this the time? It's anime bullshit. Let's go. There was no black cat there. It was a girl holding a large scythe. Did she always have a scythe? I can't remember. How's that? This level of reasoning is possible for Furido Erica. Man, just gonna go like... God, God, she's just flying, yes. This is probably the first time most of you have ever met me. Allow me to introduce myself. Pleased to meet you, everyone. I'm the detective. I'm Furudo Erica, the detective. If you're one of those blockheads who can only think of the Rudo family culprit theory, stand down. If anyone thinks they can counter my argument, please, feel free. Of course, I won't be holding back either. It's the Witch of Truth. She really is a witch. Good grief. All those thousands, and this is the best you can do? None of you has the courage to fight Furudo Erica in a battle of words? Too bad. Let's put an end to this. Then again, I, Furudo Erica, don't have enough spare time to counter all you blockheads one by one. I'll let her clean up the rest. You're up. Is this Lenore? Red cracks? Oh no, that's... Wait, that's... Isn't that? Yeah! Who is it? Is it Ava? Witch Ava? Yeah, Witch Ava. You forget me, and you call him the ruler of Broken Jima? You forget me, and you think Rudolph is the culprit? Who forgets Ava Beatrice and calls themselves the murderer of Broken Jima? I heard the sound. Hang on. Here we go. Alright. Ava Beatrice, the witch who returned alive from the legend of the witch serial murders and inherited the name of Beatrice. She uses the Ava culprit theory to refute all other theories regarding Catbox. At the same time, she can use the Ava culprit theory to create endless tragedies with herself as the culprit. Perhaps she could also be called the lid separating the inside and the outside of the cat box. Of course, she knows what's inside the cat box. Does she? Furudo Erica, the Witch of Truth, who has successfully revived from the depths of oblivion. She is Enigma, a witch who is also a detective and a human. Once again, she will serve her master Bern Castell in her scheming, but I thought Bernie wanted to shove her in to, you know, break Ange, and so it doesn't seem like Erica's working against her? She is the witch who controls miracles, but she's also known as the witch who knows the miracles do not occur. She's determined to destroy the illusion of the witch, and even now, when Beto's game board has fulfilled its function, her determination remains just as strong. She knows as the Miko of the late Grady Aurora, and rumor has this back and has given her considerable influence in the Senate. All of the goats, low-level furniture and service to Beatrice, their grandmother, yada yada. Okay, that's it. There's nothing there, really. How impertinent. On this island, who lives and dies is totally up to me. All the wealth and the gold is mine. Everything about October 4th and 5th in 1986 is mine to do as I please. It all belongs to me, Ava Beatrice. So you morons doubt that I'm the culprit? Reaching the Ava culprit theory and giving up there is good enough for the likes of you. If only you just get crushed and disappear and die. An will always be on your side, Anne-chan. I'll never let anyone insult your family. Aunt Ava, but you're insulting yourself. Don't worry. I'm not doing this because I want to be thanked, but I'll always be on your side. See you later. Aww. Ava's been protecting Ange all these times from the media. Oh, so it's like the representation of that. Yeah, Ava trying to stop the media from going wild on the. I guess that's the idea. Yeah, she is almost trying to act like a villain so that everybody believes that she was the one who did it, and it was so they don't go and decide that it was like Ange's family and start like saying because yeah, I guess in terms of the heart, right? You know, or in terms of the motive, right? The only real possible motives we can really have are Ava, who survived, as a way to kill everybody to get all the money for herself, and potentially, since Ange wasn't there, which is suspicious, the idea that it was some kind of plan from them that they were going to, that basically they purposely made sure that Ange wasn't there because, so that she would be safe when they decide to you know, do some big thing to try and get all the money for themselves, right? That's the idea. And they can, for at least for the media, there can only really be only be two possible explanations, at least plausible explanations that have a heart to them, that have a motive to them. So basically, if Ava makes herself look like the culprit, that means that people won't get suspicious of Ange, right? Does that make sense? What do you think, everyone? Thanks for saving me. Who are you? I'm Virudo Erica, the detective. And I'm also a witch. A witch? A witch of truth. One who searches for the single truth. And so are you, right? Those 2 days, October 4th and 5th, 1986. I've been so desperate to know what happened that I took a step off the roof of that skyscraper, drifted through several witch games in a fragment world, and abandoned myself to this long journey with no rewards. All I want is to know what happened that day. All I want is the single truth of that day. Exactly. That level of reasoning is possible for Mozilla Vulpix. Exactly. You see, man. I'm glad people are on my wavelength here. Searching for something like that is what makes you a witch of truth. So you're just the same as me. That's why I came to save you. I want to know just what happened on that day. No one will tell me. No one knows. But I know something happened that day. I'd give up anything to learn what that was. It's the one thing I need to know no matter what, even if it kills me. So tell me. You know, don't you? You know what happened on that island, right? Does a witch of truth expect to be given the truth? If I told you that so-and-so was the truth, would you really just accept whatever I said? No, I wouldn't. What did Battler-san show you today? Oh, I don't. I wonder if has she always called him Battler-san, or is that new to show that now she respects him or whatever? Today, Oni-chan showed me a bizarre Halloween party. May have been heartwarming and a lot of fun, but it definitely wasn't the truth. Didn't Battler-san show you something and say it was the truth? It's not. Couldn't be the truth. Sometimes other people will try to mislead us by claiming they know the truth. But a real witch of truth must continue to pursue the single truth without being led astray. That's why you can't accept the fake truth that Battler-san's trying to force on you. You care about finding the one real truth more than anything. Yeah. Oni-chan is trying to confuse me. I felt that this whole time. Even though he knows everything about what happened that day, he won't tell me anything at all. How is he any different from Aunt Ava, who mocked me and refused to tell me anything, even until the very moment of her death? Why won't Oni-chan tell me? Why? Why won't he tell me? Why won't Oni-chan tell me what really happened? Why? Why? I'm the only one who doesn't know. No one's telling me the truth. Tell me what happened that day. Oni-chan! Oni-chan! tell me what happened that day. No one can tell you. After all, you can only find the truth if you look for yourself. Where is the truth? How can I find it? Everyone's hiding it. They won't tell me. I'll find it myself. So please just tell me where the truth is hidden. Very well. I can tell you. I can't tell you. I can't tell you what the truth is. However, if it's a question of how the truth can be reached, I can show you the way. You. I never said that was the truth. But I heard what you said with the red. I'll say it just for you, that this is all truth. You yelled out and interrupted, stopping me from saying anymore. I was bound to say that this is all truth. That this is all truth isn't necessarily so. What? Just how far are you willing to go to mock me? What do you mean by this? I apologize, but I did want to test you. Test me how? I wanted to see if you were ready to accept the truth, no matter what it may be. Truth can betray you sometimes. In fact, there are times where it shows itself as the thing you desire least. That fragment I showed you was probably the worst one you could possibly imagine. However, if you lack the strength and courage to withstand even something like that, then you aren't fit to reach the truth. Interesting! So you're telling me that this whole time, Bernie was actually trying to be nice? And she was actually trying to... essentially just trying to be like, alright, okay, hey, the cat box stuff is, I mean, the game is over, so Ange, I'm gonna give you the truth. First of all, are you ready to consider this? And I'm gonna be really mean about it, and then... question mark, question mark, question mark. I want to know the truth, but I want one of them to come back. Those two witches contradict each other. By learning the truth, I'll be forced to accept that no one's coming home. The truth is always cruel. At times it can even cut down your hopes. Most of the time, humans don't realize the cost of learning the truth. I simply wanted to see if you had the necessary resolve. I must choose between my two contradicting wishes. Will I find the truth and abandon my optimistic hopes for my family's return? Or will I give up on the truth and keep waiting for the family that will never really return for all eternity? Will I freeze up and let myself be fooled by the childish illusion my brother made for me? Okay, oops. I assume that this is the... Is this the point where we make the decision? Tell me, Ange, are you truly determined to learn the truth? I am. And your resolve will not falter? It won't. Deep in your eyes, I see the glint of one who seeks the truth. Will you tell me? Will you show me the way that leads to the truth? Yes, I'll guide you. Did you forget, Ange? I'm your guardian, right? You are the Beatrice of 1998, Ange Beatrice. I became your guardian and recognized you as a witch. However, you aren't an endless witch like Beto. A witch of truth. That's right. You're like Erica, a witch of truth who will seek the single truth, undeceived by any illusions. I guess the witch of truth, Ange Beatrice, has the power to reach the single truth. Yes. However, up until now, you've been unable to use this power. Do you know why? I do now. Even though I searched for the truth, I unconsciously resisted learning the truth. Exactly. Finding the truth was your goal. At the same time, you were unconsciously afraid that learning the truth would mean losing that miracle of your family coming back. So you didn't have what it took to stretch your hand out to the single truth. You're completely right. I have to admit that I was naive. I must admit it. My entire family is dead. Now that I've acknowledged it, I must expose why they died and who was behind it. Thanks. The fragment you showed me in that dark theater was there to open my eyes. Many, many games have gone by waiting for you to become a true witch of truth. But I think there was a purpose to it all. After all, now, in this final game, you really have become a witch of truth. Tell me, what happened on that island that day? I won't ask you to tell me directly, so guide me. What can I do to reach the truth? It's quite repetitive at the moment. It's a bit too chilly here. Let's move. To where? To a place better for drinking tea. Yes, Lady Burncastell's game was another splendid one. We're going to reveal a game board to everyone here, so have a go at it. It's pretty awesome. But you solved it in the end all the same. A game that no one can solve isn't a game. The main point is whether it was fun or not. It's fun. I guarantee it's quality. Same here. At first I thought there was no way anyone could solve it, but the way you can use one confirmed purple statement after another to narrow down the suspects made for a great puzzle. You know, I think the actual reason why I don't like voicing Zapar and Furfur, besides the fact their statements are all really repetitive, is because I have absolutely no fucking idea what voice to give them. Oh, it's like a logic puzzle. Now see, Lanor, for example, I like voicing her because I just do the silly robot voice. It would not do to waste such a rare gift from Lady Berncastel. Let us take this opportunity to enjoy ourselves. Still, this is a tough one. It almost makes you wonder if it was made to be solvable, doesn't it? If you don't start by believing that it's made to be solvable, you won't get anywhere. The battle of wits doesn't begin until you trust the questioner and believe that it can be solved. And we guarantee that it is. Come on, have a go at it. Would you like some tea? Any kind of calming black tea for me, with milk if you don't mind. Please add some dried plums to some black tea. That's the trick to making terrible tea drinkable. Come now, don't sulk. We're honestly complimenting your game for being such a fun one. I'm not sulking. My face just looks this way. When I managed to spot Burn's own kind of warmth in that expression, I felt like I'd climbed to the pitch-black top of a snowy mountain to find a beautiful star. And I'm sorry for having an eternally frosty face. How difficult it is to compliment Lady Berncastel. No matter what you say, she always takes it in a bad way. That's okay. She's the type who'll keep thinking about it for hours later on. Oh, the type who lies in bed relishing it while hugging her pillow. Yep, that's Burn for you. Seriously though, that really was a fun game with a twist. You think so? Thank you. You could have made it unsolvable, but you still made it to be solved. You couldn't have done that unless you planned on playing fair and enjoying the game. I like games where I win no matter what. Games that I might lose are just a pain. Later, I'd like to switch sides and try another one. I'll make a puzzle and we'll see if you can solve it. A game for you to win against me. Of course, I'll use all the know-how I picked up in my fights with Vito to make it super hard. I'm not giving up my winning streak that easily. Both you and Vito have such an interesting way of thinking. How's that? The game is just a means to decide who wins and who loses, right? When you create one, your own victory should be your highest priority. So why would you go all the trouble of making a game you might lose? What fun is in the game we always win? No, that's not even a game. Victory and defeat. It's fun because you're taking part in a fair competition. Finally, I clearly understand the difference between how all of you think and how I think. What do you mean? For you, this is communication. It isn't for me. The world you live in must be pretty savage. And what about you? Wasn't it the same for you until you understood Vito's game? An eternal game is eternal torture. Have you already completely forgotten about that pain you suffered? There were days I did think that, but now it's all been resolved. I won't complain about stuff that's in the past. I'm impartial, you might say. That is the critical difference between you and me, I think. Your eternal torture was something you could laugh off and forget. Mine wasn't nearly so trivial. That's all there is to it. Basically, Battler, if you were in the difference between the protagonists of Higurashi and the protagonists of Umineko is you actually don't mind being trapped in eternal torture of hundreds and thousands of different horrible possibilities of you horribly dying. I did. It broke me. And I'm broken. That's it. Higurashi was so nasty you can't even believe. I don't know your history. Sounds like you got it rough. To think I'm getting sympathy from a former peace. I must be getting old. Are you being tortured by someone right now? Is that person in the room with you right now? Are you kidding? I'm as free as can be. I'm not bound by anyone's shackles. Then that's a good thing, isn't it? At least things are better for you now. True. It's much better now than it was once was. Though I am on a long, endless journey to escape from boredom. Then at the very least, us meeting here should have been a good thing for you. Indeed. Even the taste of defeat can keep my boredom at bay somewhat. We're friends who've enjoyed fighting in a fair game. So, if your days are filled with nothing but running away from boredom, feel free to drop by our place every now and then. We'd love to welcome a friend. And we'll be able to set up everything needed to help a friend escape from boredom. You think you can prepare a welcome interesting enough to help me, the great Bern Castell, escape boredom for even a single night? I do. That's what it means to be a friend. We won tonight's game, so the next time you come, we'll switch sides. This time, we'll entertain you with one of our games. Of course, we don't intend to let you in easily. We'll challenge you to a devilishly twisted logic game. Yeah. Huh. After talking with you, even this dried plum tea is starting to taste sickly sweet. What a pain. I heard from Vito. Sounds like this dried plum tea stuff is some of your favorites. Next time we'll throw in some high-class dried plums covered in gold leaf, so make sure you come again. If you really plan to do that, try finding some better tea to start with. I'll never feel like coming again if you keep serving tea like this. Ah, come on. I guess the tea you're used to drinking is pretty damn high class. Next time, why don't you invite us somewhere we can drink some of that? Me? Invite you over? It's only fair, right? You've treated you. Yeah, it would be only fair. So let's have the game be fair too. My game isn't over yet. Oh shit! That's some confidence you have there, and yet I'm afraid you're mistaken on one point. It's that my game isn't over yet. I wonder who will win in the end. Tea here's far too sweet. It was a mistake to have any. Thank you, Genji. Take this away, please. Battler, why are you smiling with such a foolish, optimistic face? If you really think this final game will be nothing but a happy epilogue, then I'll have to invite you all to a proper game for bringing this tale to a close. Battler, you forget too easily. Don't you remember in whose hand lies the key to this final game? You mean Ange? Did you forget about your sister? Where am I? Oh, Aurora study. I hate to admit it, but her taste in tea really is excellent. Isn't this place... How pleasant it is to see you again, child of man. Long time no see, my master. didn't think I would get the chance to welcome you into my study again. To think that game of yours is still continuing. It won't be continuing much longer. This is the end, the true final game. This was the study of Featherine Augustus Aurora. Alright, I heard the sound. Okay, no, that looks like it's basically the same. Don't tell me you want me to read again. I wasn't the one who called you here. My Miko brought the two of us together. Why? Isn't it obvious? To show you the path that leads to the truth. You'll show me the way, Featherine? Well, I am the Witch of Theatre going, though I dislike interfering with the actors on the stage. So, would you rather watch Battler's boring play or my exciting one that manipulates the branching path's fate? I know you can't stand even a minute of boredom. And yet you are literally the one holding the key. I can do nothing but tell you where to find the keyhole, child of man. Oni-chan did give me this key. Then he just said something about how I'd know how to use it when the time was right. He didn't say a word about what it was used for. Do you know? What is this key for? Explain, my Miko. No way, you explain. You demand that your master explain. You've got to go on stage every now and then. Otherwise you'll just get senile all the faster. My. And yet I just enjoyed some long overdue time on the stage where Ange was reader, which should last me several centuries at least. Tell me, what is this key? A physical manifestation of the decision you are to make. This tale, this game, will end when you are asked to make a certain decision. What you hold there is the act of your decision embodied in the form of a key. This is like the most fucking literal I'm going to tell you in this entire game. It's a metaphor for your decision. Exactly. Val probably planning to end it by putting you in front of two doors, both of which can be opened by the key. Then he would ask you to choose which door to open. He must have told you that much, right? He didn't tell me anything at all. Just kept saying things like, you'll know when the time comes. Butler probably wants to respect your right to make a decision of your own free will. But Ange, you should have at least started to figure it out by now, right? Figure what out? There's an answer Battler wants you to choose, isn't there? Oni-chan was clearly trying to trick me with a vague tale, almost like a daydream that'll take me even further away from the truth. At the 1986 family conference, everyone had a wonderful time as they faded away. Everyone is smiling down from you from heaven, so you don't have to feel alone even in 1998. So give it your all and live by yourself. I've clearly sensed Oni-chan's desire to end it like that. Every time I ask him about it, he dodges the issue. That's right. It appears that Battler is giving you a fair choice. But he's actually scheming to get you to choose a certain one of those answers. You've seen the farce of a tale he's using to do that, right? He's trying to trick me with those chummy scenes so he can keep me away from the truth. He's such a coward. True, it might be easy to call him a coward from your perspective. But remember, if you were a player in this game, and if Battler is the game master, what does that imply? In the past, Battler was a player and Vito was the game master, and they each fought for their own respective truths. So what's happening this time? I'm a player, and Oni-chan's the game master. Could it be that I've misunderstood everything from the very beginning? Oni-chan said he'd tell me what happened on that day, so I assumed that following him meant I'd learn everything. Is that the same as Oni-chan accepting everything Vito says about the crimes being the work of a witch? What a stupid mistake I've been making! Ange, no! This game has always been a fight between me and Oni-chan. I'm surprised you joined in without realizing that. Father really is sly. He quickly started up the final game without letting you realize that simple fact. Well, it was the same back in Bito's games. Father was drawn into a game before he knew what was happening, before he even knew how to fight. That's why I taught him how. And now it's exactly the same. You were forced to start this game before you understand. Yep. I've come to tell you the truth. Tell you who you're fighting against and for what. I was wrong. That's not what this is. This is a battle between me, the one who wants to reach the truth, and Oni-chan, who wants to trick me and chase me out into a 1998 where I'm all alone. No, Anj, there's a difference between believing that your family had happiness and that, he's trying to... Whatever. Now you understand your own purpose, and the purpose of that key. Thank you. I'm grateful. I think I've finally been able to truly open my eyes. Please don't hate Battler. After all, one-sidedly tricking your opponent is what Game Masters do. I know. Oni-chan took the best option from his perspective. That's all there is to it. I need to tear off the veil, uncovering the truth. Nothing more, nothing less. Oni-chan gave me this key. Probably because he wants me to put it back into the keyhole of his choosing. Yep. I'll open the door I want to open. Certainly this kind of tale is more to my liking than one where Ange does whatever Battler says. And this time I'll let you run the show from here on out. Tell Ange. Tell her where the keyhole that leads to the truth is. Very well. First off, have a seat. I'll go and get it for you. Lady? Huh? Looks like they've arrived. Should I call you Madam Hachijo this time? How complicated names are. Even though both of us are still here, just like before, you have to wonder what to call me. True. Calling you Featherine would be a bit rude to you now. For an actor, the name of the role they act is only temporary. Precisely, child of man. Featherine? So what are you gonna show me? Do you know what this is? Why don't you take it and observe the back? Ava. Fushiro Miya Ava! Oh god, it's like her memoir or whatever, right? Yeah. What is this? Aunt Ava's diary? Could this be that rumored? Do you know something about this? Just a rumor. They say that President Ava had a secret diary and that she always kept it locked up. They say she took it with her everywhere she went. At least that's what I heard from some of the other bodyguards. A secret diary. Why is that here? It was in the hospital room where Ushirome Ava passed away. Yeah, a locked diary found in the hospital room where Ushirome Ava spent her last moments. Be absolutely priceless. Look, content to foolishly destroy the lock and reveal the truth. They simply satisfied themselves with the fact the truth of that day slumbered just on the other side. Oh my goodness. These guys are so fucking dramatic. It is already known that Natsuhi, wife of Kraus, the oldest son of Kinzo, sealed up all of her complaints and repressed feelings by writing them down in a diary, which she treated like a sort of charm. So Aunt Ava did the same thing? It's possible, at least. Opening up a diary like this would be a pain, even if you did have a key. Sealed up tight like a corset. Don't tell me that diary is... Are you saying Aunt Ava wrote down what happened that day? By reading its contents, you will probably learn everything. However, we don't know where the key that unlocks it is. It's gone! The key's gone! Where'd the diary go? It should exist somewhere on the game board. Since it is one of the keyholes you are to be given, it must exist. Did Onichan hide it somewhere? Since Balor wants this to be a game between you and him, it probably isn't hidden completely. I mean, yeah, it's the thing that was on Beatrice's corpse, probably. Yeah, clues must be shown, yep. And trying to remember. I remember it. Yep. That was on Ava's diary. That's right. Ushirame Ava's diary. The book of the single truth with the truth of that day written inside it. Book of the single truth. I'll say it in red. Ushirame Ava's diary, the book of the single truth, has the truth of Rokujima during October 4th and 5th, 1986, recorded within it. And that sounds like a great place to end things off. Woohoo! We're getting there. We're getting together. I'm glad I figured out the puzzle, even if I did need to, do things. Get it wrong a few times. See you guys.